Hello and welcome, my name is Anne and today I'm reacting to the fixed version dance practice of Itzy's Tunnel Vision because I got very curious with the song itself, what the choreography would look like, and the snippets that we saw in the music video further enforced it, so I'm really curious. The one thing I will say, I meant to watch some performances to get like a feel for the choreo so I could comment better, and then I just didn't find time. This week was just weird. Anyway, I did see some clips here and there, but it was mostly from the chorus, so I don't really think it counts because we saw that part in the music video. Anyway, we'll just get into it and see what goes. But one thing I will say, white room and black outfits is such a good combination. The styling in dance practice is surprisingly important in relation to how much you can actually see of the choreo. So this is already better than some other dance practices I have seen, and that is entirely just because we actually can cleanly see everything. Anyway, let's just start. It's so loud. Ooh. I'm gonna be honest, because of how distorted the song starts, I would have almost liked them to do something more abstract with the beginning. I think I'm very much, and I'm not saying this because of the incoming, but I would categorize NMIX's Tank intro choreography as something a little bit more abstract. I guess this does kind of fit into the same general descriptor, but there is still a certain rhythm to it that I don't think fits with how distorted the beginning of the song is. Let's just take it back all the way. Ooh, delay. There's a certain thing around K-pop choreographies and backup dancers where I'm a little bit conflicted, because I understand that there are some cases where backup dancers are necessary, and because songs will end up being performed at concerts the most, in that sense, backup dancers always have to kind of be planned in. However, I do think K-pop choreos suffer mildly when you entirely rely on backup dancers. And I did see a clip, and I'm pretty sure it's from the start section, where they danced without the backup dancers. I personally find that you can always tell that backup dancers are missing. There's just something about how the space is used that just tells you they practiced it with other people there. And that can be kind of distracting. Because of that, I very much prefer it when groups dance on their own and include backup dancers for bigger stages like the end of year award shows or concerts and stuff. Occasionally even on the music shows, but just like the main choreo of the song, I feel like should mostly be the group. It's just my opinion, okay? And the only exception to that for me personally are soloists, because they are alone and that can be very difficult to carry an entire stage entirely on your own. In that context, I do understand it. But for a group, even if it's a smaller number group, like if it's 4 members, that's still, I think they can still carry it if it's a good group. Which, let's be honest, most groups can carry a performance. It's kind of part of the job. So that's just like a little thing. And the thing is, we know Itzy can handle a full stage. I would say they are one of the better performance groups in the industry, like in general. I would say they are pretty far up in that regard. Anyway, I lost the context. I should maybe keep going. We're not even a minute in. We're not even half a minute in. I get easily distracted, can you tell? Ooh. The passing over of the backup dancers is really nice. These two on the side, on the right side. And then they're on the left side. That's nice. They could have come in with 4 more people. I will say, my quality is too low to actually see. All the backup dancers are dressed completely in black. 4 of the girls have some brownish colors in their clothes. Someone, and I think it's Yuna, is also dressed entirely in black. I thought she was a backup dancer, so in that regard, questionable. In terms of styling, I feel like there are some things that should be looked at closely. I know I'm very much nitpicking, but that's kind of what I do here, so. Hmm. I didn't actually have a lot to say in terms of like the actual dance moves they're doing in the beginning, but I knew that the chorus part, they have a lot of very big moves. They're reaching, which is really nice. The beginning was really simple, I feel like, which is kind of odd because I kind of feel like Itzy put themselves in my head as like a group with interesting dance moves. I mean, like the Girls Will Be Girls lean is pretty iconic in my mind. So that's interesting that I don't have anything in that direction yet. We still have 2/3 to go, but that's besides the point. Ryujin's part choreo was really good. I feel like that really, like I zeroed in there. Also, why did the chorus part feel so short all of a sudden? Also, I really like the foot wiggle. That's what we're calling it now. Because I'm pretty sure like Esper did it as well in Armageddon. They also had like the foot wiggle. I don't know why I like that, and I just realized that kind of it's such a little thing, but there is something about like a movement that happens from top to bottom, right? Because in the Esper choreo as well, they wiggle with the hand also. So I think a combination of that is really nice. I'm gonna be honest. I think the backup dancers are kind of doing a disservice to the choreo. I don't know what it is exactly, because like even for the parts where they split up in the beginning and in the Ryujin's part as well, I don't think they had to do that. I think it would have been fine if it's just the 5 members. Because I'm gonna be honest, I also don't think this choreo, I could be entirely wrong. I'm not a dancer, but this choreo doesn't look as difficult as some other choreos that they had in the past, where they were also only 5. I think they could do this as 5 members while still keeping all 5 on stage the entire time. So I wonder what the decision process was like, because at some point you have to be like, this is the next song, we need a choreo, will we have backup dancers or not? Like, will we make the choreo with backup dancers in mind? That's a question that they have to ask at some point, especially bigger companies that have the budget for it. I've never thought about it that deeply, but now I am wondering what goes into the decision process. Because if I'm guessing you kind of have to decide before you even have the choreo. Because either you get the choreo and then you're like, no, we want to do it with backup dancers, and you have to have it re-choreographed to include backup dancers, or you go in right away and are like, we want it with backup dancers, we need it with like 12 people, whatever. And then it's only choreographed once. So I have questions, I have thoughts. I am curious what this means. I mean, here as well, we have all 5 in the center, and the backup dancers are the ones coming in, which is more usual in line with like concert performances. I'm trying to understand the thought process, but I don't think I have the knowledge to actually get there. So this is just what we have to deal with. I can say this now because we're almost at the end. I am a little bit disappointed because the chorus choreography is actually what I like the most and the thing that stands out. I got really excited about the choreography because it looked really good in the music video because it was the chorus part. Now seeing the entire choreography, the chorus part is the best part, which is good in some ways and bad in other ways because certain choreography moves that aren't part of the chorus can often have potential to become very iconic. I have to stop trying to understand the thought process. I don't have the knowledge to do that, but I keep trying to. What I will say, it's very good that this is, and like I'm specifically thinking of like NMIX's Dash dance practice because whoever made the decision that they're going to film in a black room with very little light, with everyone dressed entirely in deep black, a horrible idea. I'm still so sad. It was a stage practice. It wasn't a dance practice. Anyway, my point still stands. This is good. This is good. When you have, I do always think it's kind of important for the dance practices to, at the very least, have a contrast between the room and the members. Because in a certain way, at this point, they can be pretty sure, and I mean that like in regards to all companies, in a certain way, they can know that their dance practices are very likely going to be used to learn the choreography for like cover groups and stuff. And that's also then again promotion in a way. So in that regard, I think it's pretty good that they do this kind of stuff. In this case, obviously, it also fits with the concept what they're wearing, because the whole concept is like pretty neutral, dark colors. But even when it's like colorful or light concepts, I think contrast should be aimed for as like a priority in the dance practices. I don't know why this diverged into a rant about how dance practices should be filmed. Let's finish. See, I wasn't sure because the backup dancers are all like very pulled inwards in most of the choruses. I think I actually like the choreo more without the backup dancers. Like, especially the chorus. I wonder why that is, because a lot of times backup dancers can add a lot. Again, I personally prefer it when backup dancers aren't in the dance practices, because that means that the group has actively practiced to perform the song on their own. But usually I'm also kind of neutral in regards to backup dancers, and in this case I'm like, why are you here? What do we get? I think another issue I have with this choreo is I've talked about this in my reaction to Kickflip's Band-Aid choreography. And that was a positive example of this. Here, I feel like the formation changes are very much just formation changes. They aren't quite part of the choreo. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have full concentration to like actually look properly at it. That's why it took me a bit to realize that. But at the very least, there's some formation changes that are just formation changes and some formation changes that are choreographed. I feel like there's always a difference between those. In my kickflip reaction, I praised that because kickflips formation changes felt like part of the choreo. I didn't notice them. Here I am noticing them, but only partially. That's like a minor thing that I do look at, so that's why I'm mentioning it. Okay, the end. I'm curious. What am I thinking? I am thinking that this was mildly underwhelming. I think especially because I like the Girls Will Be Girls choreo. So I guess I expected a little bit more in that direction. But there isn't a lot of like very significant things that stay in my head here besides the chorus, which is a little bit sad. And I am wondering if I would have noticed more if I actually watched some performances. I don't know. I really like the song. And for some reason, both the music video and the dance practice now downgraded for me a little bit. Usually, usually music videos and dance practices, they don't downgrade the song. They either elevate it or it stays neutral. Here, with both cases, now I've been like, it makes me a little bit less excited about the song. So that's really, it's interesting because I don't think that has happened in a while. So in that regard, I'm kind of fascinated with it. I'm not saying that it's bad. Again, I'm just sharing my own opinion here. That's what I do. That's why this channel exists. So I can yap on for 22 minutes. But the point is, honestly, I don't think watching performances would have changed my mind a lot. I think I'm pretty neutral about this. I don't have much of an opinion besides I don't like it. Actually, now that I think about it, I think there's also something about having backup dancers in the music show promotions that makes it less exciting once backup dancers are involved in concerts for those songs. It was just a thought that came to me. Anyway, I think that's all I have. I feel like trying to keep talking won't do as much good anymore, so I guess that's just my opinion, that I don't really have one besides not quite feeling the vibes, I guess. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. I just leave it at that. So, I don't think I mentioned it before. I also reacted to the song. I recorded my first listen to the song Tunnel Vision and my first reaction to the music video. I also wrote a review for the entire mini album over on Tumblr. All of that will be linked in the description. I do more reactions, mostly to girl groups, sometimes to boy groups. And yeah, that's it. So, thank you for watching, take care of yourselves, drink tea, and with this I release into the depths of the universe once again. See ya!